a buddy, you're a boy, make a buddy, you're a boy, make a buddy, you're a boy, make a buddy, you're a boy now.
So here they come to sell him again. 9 half straight night, 20 straight night, even straight here. Now guys, 8 halves are trading as well.
What is going on, guys? So gonna do my weekly equity charting review as fast as I possibly can. It's been a long week, so without further ado, let's just get into it here. I'm a tired boy and trying to get this done, and at some point here I think I'm gonna get a new treadmill delivery, so my phone goes off, then I gotta run, but we'll see if we can't get through it quickly. Alright, so first we're going to start with SPY here. So SPY today had a nice pullback day, just compressing right here against this trend line. That is healthy for markets. So yeah, it tried to go higher, but it pulled back today. So we'll see if it holds this level, and really just if it holds 416, you know, if it loses it, well, obviously next up we've got like 411, and then this is a false breakout, and you know it's looking a little bit more bearish. But if you look at a weekly TPO profile, it looks like more upside for the E-mini and the S&P 500. So my best guesstimate would be, well, you buy the pullbacks in the trend, even if we come back to 411. You can look on the daily here. Little bit of balance here. Broke up a little bit. Tried essentially yesterday, and you know, we had all the earnings and everything. Earnings were pretty bullish for a lot of mega caps, so a lot of them have pulled back and consolidated. And if they start to run a little bit, a lot of them are on weekly breakouts. We'll see that. We're going to see equities run a little bit further, and probably with the S&P 500, we'll probably see it hit its you know, its measured move, which is, you know, around 42.25 to 42.60. So I would not bet against a bullish market like this. You know, yeah, is the risk reward great if you're trying to swing for the next few months? Buying up here, probably not. But short term, which is what I kind of care about right now, is I think we have more upside. And if we get that upside and we hit some of those measured moves, and then I will be buying some puts looking for pullbacks. So you guys remembered I bought puts right into 416, 417, and I sold way too early. I sold in the 414s, but you know, never hold on to a short in a hot market for an extended amount of time is my thinking. So you know, I did cover into the 414s, and didn't quite catch the 10 SMA, essentially holding the 10 SMA and popping. So anyway, that's what SPY looks like here short term. The Qs broke out on the weekly, broke out on the daily. Now we're finding balance here above all-time highs, little double top action. But if you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you know that this kind of pattern here is typically bullish. So it's buy the dip until, you know, we break the basically about 333 support, in which case, you know, you want to look for 324 or something like that. So we do have a gap here at 332. So regardless, I'd watch for that gap fill on the Qs, and you've really just got to control your risk in here. Meaning, you know, maybe you short for 320s or something, but this could easily turn into a gap fill and then take it right back up, because we've got this as support right now. So optimally, I would like us to pull back into this area and then launch, right? So, but we'll see. So the Qs, let's see. Oh, this is the daily trend line. Let's get rid of that. It's just a shape. Yeah. I don't know that looking at a 30-minute chart is that useful, right? We know that there's this kind of thing going on, but every time we've compressed, we've pushed back up. So, someone said, a professional's job in a bull market is to buy the pullbacks until they start failing. And that is how you make the most money. So you buy the pullback, sell the next breakout, right? Some kind of measured move. It's not perfect. Buy the next pullback. So anyway, QQQ doesn't look bad. Oh, let's go IWM, the Russell. I haven't been looking at the Russell very much. People have been bullish the Russell. I have not been that bullish the Russell. So let's see. The Russell is setting up for an interesting short-term move here. This kind of thing you want to be kind of wary of. Pull back, pull back. All right, so let's just do that and that. Yeah, it's a toppy kind of pattern. Kind of resembles a diamond reversal. So you just want to be careful when you make a move like this. You get a lot of volatility, you get bounces, and then you make lower highs. So far we're not really able to push above this here, so it's diamond-ish. And that could be continuation, could be reversal. We don't know. Just gotta wait until it breaks. So still lots of gaps below. We got a gap way down here. Gee, many Christmas. So we'll see. Russell, kind of same thing on the 30-minute here. Right, some sort of falling wedge kind of action. This was resistance, so maybe this will be support. If you look at so this is on the 30-minute. If we look kind of locally here, we are right on what is a point of control for this area here. So I would expect some sort of bounce, especially as it compresses down like this. So if we lose momentum but yet move down, and we just lose momentum into this area, I would expect a sharp bounce. So if we don't get that, some sort of sharp breakout on the Russell in the coming week or something, then maybe you look for here. Let's move this let's move this trend line. We'll use this one. All right. Maybe look for a little lower. And then we got low volume node. Maybe we reject into there, or maybe we do some sort of rot rule of 3, where we come in, find the low volume node, find liquidity, and then we have the fuel for a bounce. So we'll see. All right, diamonds. I always spend a little bit more time on the indexes. Yeah, liquidity. I agree. We could use some liquidation. The markets are struggling a little bit, but you have to just consider it as consolidation until the trend fails. Man, trying to call the tops or bottoms in any trend is just a dangerous business. However, I will play pullbacks, especially on measured moves. So I'll take shots. I usually have pretty good success. Okay, so the diamonds on the weekly. Remember I said on the weekly, it's likely we break out here, and it's never a good idea to do the rising wedges because so many uptrends form the rising wedge pattern, and a lot of them just don't work well. What does work well is if you get a parabolic move and then it comes back in to the body, then that's a nice short, but we're not there. So right now it's just we're just balancing. That's it. That's all we are doing, and we're making lower highs slightly, but we're just compressing a little bit, and that's actually a good thing. So probably the more people that get bearish, or not the more people, but the more undercapitalized folks that get bearish, the better chances we're going to have it exploding up. So the Dow represents a lot of industrials, so I don't know. Looks good with the whole economic reopening theme. All right, let's get into some large caps. Let's see. I'm not on Discord here. Let's see. Okay, Discord. We're gonna close Discord down. Not even focus on that. Okay. Apple with some good earnings, but no forward guidance. Lack of forward guidance because of the pandemic. So Apple tried to break this base. Well, it kind of hit the measured move on earnings, didn't it? Sure did. I only played it to the long side on earnings for a few dollars. I think. I don't know. Almost don't even remember. I played it so many times. I think I hit long and short trades. I don't know. I was having fun with earnings. You know, one of the things you can do with earnings is, like, let's say you go into a platform like Thinkorswim. Go up into the trade tab on Thinkorswim. Is it open? Let me see. Yeah, I won't show you guys. Anyway, go up. I don't know what's being shown on my Thinkorswim account right now. Go into the expected, or just the trade tab in Thinkorswim, and then go into the options, and then right at the top there it'll show like plus or minus for the various chains. Well, above that, above all the option chains, there's like expected move. That's what's being priced in. So what they often do is they go up and they tag the edge of the expected move. If it goes a little beyond that, I like to short. Especially if, like, okay, this thing's already kind of come up, right? Like, how much more is it going to move? Like, it looks like this on the daily. And then I like to get in and short those things. Now, I only shorted, probably I only held the short for 3 or 4 minutes, I think. But man, it can be really nice to play that way, especially if you're good at seeing momentum loss. Put up a 1-minute chart or something, and then mark up your expected moves from the close, and then add like 5%. I don't know, 5% of the expected move or something like that, typically. And then if it goes beyond that, usually it's a good short. Same with it. I mean, it depends too. Like, you know, is there resistance up here in this area? Sometimes on the downside you get crushed when you do that. So it just depends what's there. If, like, let's say earnings was decent but it sold off into this gap, and then that was like around expected move for earnings, I'd go long there for a scalp, and like you usually get like $2 or $3 kind of bounce. So anyway, that's how I play a lot of these earnings. It's kind of a higher probability setup. And, you know, I'm not always fast enough to get in on the long side before it's hit the expected move, right? Sometimes you just have to hit the ask if you're going long, for example. So I got lucky with Amazon the other day. I hit it at 35.40 and sold at 36.50, and that happened really, 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 really fast. Of course, I wasn't as big as I wanted to be, but I had bought the dip on Amazon, so it was good. And I sold everything at 36.50. So anyway, Apple, I actually like it. I like where it's at. I know it's sold off, but this pattern here, it's just a super classic, right? It's compressing right where it's at here. Go buy some Apple. Yeah, I trade what the market gives me too, liquidity. That's my goal, man. MGI, market generated information. That's why I don't know. When the market doesn't do what I want it, what I hope, you know, I am tired. When the market doesn't do what I think it's gonna do, I just accept it and move on. Just play the right size and you'll be okay. If you have edge over time, you'll come out ahead. So anyway, I like Microsoft here, but you know, if it's good because if it loses this level here, right, and it drops, okay, you have a stop. But if it starts to break to the upside over the coming days, you got good reward on pretty good earnings. So yeah, I like my Apple long right there. Doesn't bother me at all. Microsoft, kind of this interesting pattern here. Oops. earnings craziness. Healthy pullback in an uptrend for Microsoft on both the weekly and the daily. So it filled the gap right here at 250. So as I mentioned before, I thought that was a great spot to buy. But we got a little bit more here. Maybe 245-ish. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what the indexes do in the coming days. Maybe this will give us the entry we want back into this area for another long. Again, just buy the trend. Buy the trend until it fails. Okay, Amazon. Yeah, crazy move on Amazon, huh? What a crazy move. I did not short Amazon up here. Did not short it. No, I only went long. 35.40. What a crazy move on Amazon. Jeez. I mean, stellar earnings. So it broke out of this weekly balance, tried to go, and came back in. So now we're testing. Essentially, it's not real super defined. If Amazon can continue sort of holding this area here above 3,400-ish and chug along to the upside, then, I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. It's very balanced on the weekly. It's consolidated a bunch. Yeah, it is looking good. Google broke out of balance and went for it. Look at, we've got that gap now, so they're going to start taking profit. Look at that weekly structure on the candle. They'll take some profit. They'll probably fill it 23.20-ish. Yeah. So let's do this. We'll do a zone here. Like that is a buy zone for me. Intraday, we'll see. I like the risk reward. Even though it looks like this. Gap fills are usually nice. So you got some gaps here too. You see that? Here and here. So that does have some, I mean, it's gone a little crazy, but for day trading, I don't mind buying this area. So I'll be watching it. Facebook. Run, Forest, run. Look at that. Look at that gap. 310 all the way up to 3. So I would look probably to buy 315s. It's such a huge gap. So yeah, see, we got our buy on Facebook here too. So I'm all out of Facebook here. Little bit crazy. So I'd look to buy this area personally. Look at that. Fanning. Look at the fanning 200, 150, 20, and 10 SMA. And now it's in this symmetrical triangle. So it looks pretty pretty bullish, doesn't it? So if it does pull back, so I would like to see come up and make some sort of complex retracement and get a deep wick down into here. Everybody freak out. I'll just buy the terror, and then we'll put our stop down here or something like that. So you see that volume? You gotta buy above it. It's so bullish, you gotta buy above that volume. So that's my thought. Just scale some orders in there. And we'll see how it all goes with the indexes, right? Who knows? I might get some crazy move in bonds and then I reconsider everything midweek. But got to have a plan to abandon it. And I don't mind having a plan and then abandoning it midweek, but I prefer to have a plan. Okay, so Tesla. Man, this was... I'm a 50-50 trader today on Tesla. I shorted here. I won on the pullback, and then I shorted, stopped, shorted, stopped, and then I shorted again and won really nice. Then I went long, got my T. Well, you guys can't even see it. I went long here, got TP1, didn't get TP2. It came back, stopped me out. You see how the risk reward was better for the long side? So a small winner. And then I went long again Tesla right into the close. So I made like a $1.25 on the shares I had. So maybe I was better than 50-50. But it was let's see. What are we looking at? Measured move to the downside. Let me measure this more accurately. Chart calculation. Okay. This is how you do it. 80. So I don't know that we got it. I don't think we got it. No. Somewhere in here. Weekly uptrend line would have been right here, right? So there's our weekly uptrend line. So we would have been kind of close to that if we had gotten it. But man, what it took everybody for what? 46 points. You know, I was short Tesla 710 or so. No, 7 was higher than that. And then it came down, then I put a stop in profit at 710. It never hit it, but I just stopped myself out at like 709. One of those didn't let it run things. And I said, man, this is breaking out of a symmetrical triangle. This is a good short to hold. Probably for a swing or something. I was 25% of my initial. I should have closed like 95% of the day trade position and let the 5% run. That's what I should have done in hindsight. And I was kicking myself the next day. I was like, nah, I wanted to talk about it, but hindsight trading, so whatever. Tesla has got a very much a bullish engulfing going here. I mean, if you're short Tesla from here, I mean, aren't you freaking out? Aren't you going like, what? They had some China news where, Tesla's talking nice with China, giving some better deals to Chinese people, trying to, drum up some business. So I do think that, when markets do what you don't expect, like this, it's probably going to turn into some false breakout and thump. Would not be surprised. Next target 775. So maybe see how it acts. But if Tesla holds, I don't know, even 690 next week, I'm going to buy the shit out of that thing. Can I stream to both at the same time? No, I cannot. I can only stream to one thing that I know of. So, Andre, if you're listening to YouTube, maybe I can, but right now is not a good time for me to try figuring that out. JP Morgan, lots of gaps. It's gapalicious, but what XLF is making all-time highs on the weekly closing basis. Might be wrong about that, but we'll see. It's down. It's down here on the list, I think. Banks. This looks good. I mean, on the daily, this is a flag, or it's how it's pulling back like this. You see that? And on the weekly as well. So it just looks good. Even though this was a false break, for it to come back like this, we have gaps above. It's just, it's digesting gains, so looks good. I'm gonna go faster. Visa in an uptrend on the 30. Bullish. I'm just gonna keep it simple, stupid. All right, bullish. Nice pullback, very bullish in a perfect little channel. Buy it probably. All right, breaking out of this higher time frame. So we've been talking about Visa for a while. I said this typically resolves bullishly, so it's very bullish. It is an ascending triangle. Oh. So ascending up against essentially this trend line. It tried once, but it already, it's been holding, making higher lows in the weekly. So now it is off and running. So if you're a breakout trader, this thing has a lot of room for upside. Let's see. Believe it or not, that's your upside target. So $65, so it's a nice investment stock. Johnson & Johnson. So Johnson & Johnson on the weekly's got this truncated inverted head and shoulders, and it's trying to break it. It's struggling a little bit here, so probably good long term. I've got this buy zone. Not much has changed here. All right, Walmart has had this as resistance for a while. It is still resistance. That's low volume node on the weekly, low volume node. Well, let's see. Let's show you. Low volume node on the daily, right? What was support now becoming resistance. Yeah, there's a gap. And I said, hey, if we start to try to break into it, we have this trend line here, but we'll probably break the trend line, go find liquidity here, and then this is resistance. So, but it's struggling even here. So maybe a little bit overplayed, and that's why it's struggling. MasterCard. Let's see. Yeah, another bullish setup. It looks like Visa, so not much different there. Disney. Oh, Disney looks good. Been mentioning this for a while. Disney looks good. Look at that. Look at that little trend line breakdown right there. Look. 1, 2, 3. Oh, got him. Found the liquidity. Shoot. Now it's coming back. Up against 1, 2, 3. Rule of 3. I'm going to go buy Disney. Next a week. All right. Bank of America. Bullish. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Found our buy zone here, and it went for it the last week, so not too surprising. We've been bullish. Procter and Gamble. What an ugly, 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 ugly. Well, I mean, it held this area, so what an ugly chart. Broke out of this downtrend line, right? Kind of a complex retracement going on, so trying to hold it, pushing up. Short-term resistance 134.75 to 135, right? Well, what was essentially support in here will become resistance, and you can see big volume node from here too. So it already failed. Maybe this flushes enough and we get the move. So we'll see. If it moves through 136, then it's probably a long, right? So you have an attempt here. This is the daily at, you know, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, definitely. Just a consolidation. Couldn't even bear flag, right? At this angle like that. Just broke down. And then now, here we are relative to this area. We're trying to make... we already broke this area, so we're already making... I mean, this wasn't much of a pullback. So here we're trying to make higher lows, and if we go make a higher high, then it's off to the races with Procter. But again, you can see on the daily, there's that resistance through here. So we'll see. The weekly chart is not, I don't know. Not a huge fan. There's a lot of question in this too with COVID and everything like that. So anyway, Home Depot. What was I thinking here? Oops. All right, some sort of overextended move. A breakout and then a failure. So, but anyway, this is measured move objective. So right here, from this breakout here, measuring up here, Home Depot has already found its measured move, but it is holding up here. So potential distribution. I mean, it's a reopening stock, isn't it? Home Depot. So kind of interesting. I don't know. We'll see. It did not make... I said this would be a good short setup move, essentially, right? Trying to break above and then a rejecting down, but it's not doing that. It's trying to make a lower high, so we'll see. If it kind of comes down here, then it's a short. So It is strong though, so this is high and tight in terms of consolidation. So you just want to see it sort of make some momentum to try and break this low, and then who knows, maybe it turns into some sort of complex consolidation. We do have a gap right here at 308.56, so you might target the gap. That's nice risk reward, but I don't know. Sometimes these things are just more bullish. You can get kind of chopped up. So not a super great short in my opinion. The weekly structure isn't terrible. I would like it to pull back all the way to here. So, right, all the way to the 300s or something. High 290s. Okay. NVIDIA. My phone's turning on. It's weird. Talking about Google and it turned on, started recording my voice. Anyway, let's see. NVIDIA, I've been saying for a while, if you're long NVIDIA, it's that's Evernote telling me, go journal, you idiot. If you're long NVIDIA, look to take profit, because this thing is setting up just like Boeing set up. I'm just telling you right now, and it's involved in crypto, and you guys know what I think about crypto long term. So there you go. If you don't, maybe watch a previous equity review. PayPal is this is the idea, so we'll see. It doesn't look bad on the weekly. It doesn't look bad. I like these pullbacks, so we'll see. It's a wait and see stock for me. Don't always have to have an opinion, but right now it's balancing up here, just short term, a little bit. So it's still making lower highs in this area, so I would expect it to make a little bit of a lower low relative to this little area here. So we'll see. It's below the 20. Maybe we target the 10 or something like that, and then that's prior structure here, and then you get your complex retracement. I don't know, but I would be looking to be a big buyer down here. So at least for intraday or multi-day swings back up, you can make a lot of money buying that 220 to 225 guaranteed, probably. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but high probability kind of setup, right? Intel. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, wasn't a fan of Intel, but it certainly broke this trend line, and it has gone. So, not one I like to play. Look at on the weekly, just how choppy. You've got maybe support down here at 54.93, so I don't know. We've got all on the weekly, you got all this volume here, so what is that? 60 to 57 halves. So daily, you see it too. So 60 to 57 halves. Yeah, it actually might be a decent short, even with that gap up there. Interesting. I'll have to watch it. ASML. Still rejecting on that weekly trend line. Crazy stock. Crazy stock. I thought that this thing would go find liquidity above that trend line. And maybe if you draw it really precisely, they did, but it's not much. I would expect more. Weird. So, no play here for me. Comcast. I hate them. They're my internet provider. I hate them. Yeah, a little parabolic, but I don't know. They have a foothold in markets here in the US in certain areas, so no play. ExxonMobil. You know, it hit our buy zone, and then it popped. Went for the gap, didn't fill. Now it's coming back to what was resistance, may turn into support. Probably a long for maybe $2 or something. So, and decent stop. You could put your stop probably in this area here, because this is likely to act as support. So you could put your stop, I don't know, $1.50 stop for $2 or so. So decent risk reward. Right, we're just searching for as many setups as we can find. It's not, you know, it's not a perfect go. It's not a perfect setup, but it's decent risk reward, and it is a setup. So if you see a setup that has a decent probability of playing out, it's better than 1-to-1, and you win a little more than 50% of the time, then you're okay. Just by and large, this is nice. Verizon is nice. Here, this is the weekly. You see that? You see how it sets up like this? It makes these big monster moves down, moves down, and then it chops around, and it makes like this inverted head and shoulders. This thing is setting up. What's our measured move on this? Did I do that? I don't know. Somewhere measure here to here. Let's see, what is that? $11. So 71 would be measured move ish. Price zone 71. Oh, it just goes 71. All right. Is that over enough? Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. It's probably going to take a while to get there, but we'll see. Yeah, so it looks, Verizon doesn't look bad at all. That's regular trading hours? I think it is. Yeah, it is, huh? Anyway. Yeah, and that's RT. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, looks good. That looks really good, actually. Man, that is a nice looking chart. You know, I like when stocks pull back and make complex retracements like this. All the while, they're still making higher lows, just in this area. And then, you know, down here, so what part of what makes it nice is this. You see that? How if you drew a trend line, you got stopped out, so they found you on the liquidity, and now it's popped up like that, and then you got this trend line to the downside. It's essentially this one on the 30-minute. It's the same trend line. But you know, if you've read Adam Grimes, you know that complex retracements on the daily, powerful stuff, because you tend to flush a lot of the weak hands with this kind of pattern. So spending a little bit of time on Verizon, but it looks good. Coca-Cola, yeah, I have no opinion on Coca-Cola, sorry. Netflix. Well, Netflix at the top of balance here. You know, I thought Netflix would probably try to go fill the gap, but you know, I cautioned that last time I did this. I reviewed it. I said, you know, this is an impulse, and it is a symmetrical triangle. It's balancing, so it probably moves down, and it's just kind of held up here. So, you know, on the weekly, it's balance. Look, check it out. There you go. Huge symmetrical triangle. It's not a bull flag. That's a symmetrical triangle. To a breakout, exceeded the measured move, and balancing here. So, shoot, if Netflix just goes sideways, I'd be looking to buy that thing in the lower ranges. And just go with trend. I mean, it's a little crazy, but Abuse it till you lose it. And control your risk. Let's see. Adobe. I said it was a nice bull flag going on, and it broke out on the weekly. And it's trying to come back and sort of retest this area here. So we're kind of on support here. It's a buy. It is a buy. If it comes down and flushes a little bit, buy. So this is a little tricky because you got to put your stop down below volume. 495, maybe 488 or something. Because then you get a little complex retracement. So maybe you buy the mid 490s, stop 488. But you target, see what I like about this, measured move, flag, you know, your target is much higher on Adobe. So kind of a, I don't know if you can call it a sleeper, but not super popular. I don't see too many people talking about it. Cisco Systems. I hate this thing on the weekly. I mean, on the daily this is support, so I just don't like to trade it. Broadcom. Jeez. Little crazy on the weekly, but it's on the trend line. It's in the channel, I should say. But you know, we said buy here, likely, and it popped 20 bucks. Now it's kind of coming back. So where is liquidity here? Probably below this. Probably below. This is the same trend line, yeah. So I have to see how it plays out through here. Just looking at the weekly volume profile, maybe 436 for a scalp long. Maybe look for 10 points. Then you've got tight risk. 1.5 to 1 Rs or so. Yeah, that's good. That's what I like. Now we have an idea. Okay, Texas Instruments. It's in the buy zone here on the weekly. Gap down. I don't know, did this thing have earnings? I think it did. It's probably a buy here. It's on support. Looks a little bouncy. What's the upside? Fill the gap? How long do you hold that? Might be a sleeper until it finally takes off. A little bit of a slow mover. Anyway, good investment stock possibly. Costco. We were bullish. Costco broke out on the weekly. See that? Just a nice little, I guess, channel, but with only 2 points. 1, 2, and then broke out, tested, and it's off to the races. We came up with this best guesstimate channel, and it's now just moving sideways. So it looks like it's picking up steam here. Held the 20 smartly here, so yeah, it just looks bullish. Qualcomm. Wah, wah, wah. They had good earnings. So my note here, if it moves through volume node with strength, then long it. But if it doesn't, and it really hits this volume node and pulls back, beware. Now it is on support. Had decent earnings. You know, I wonder how much they're going to be partnering with Apple moving forward. I don't know enough about that. So that makes a big difference for them. Because a lot of this move up was them partnering with Apple. So when I lived in San Diego, I knew somebody who worked for Qualcomm. Qualcomm, yeah. So that was in this area. So he was saying buy, buy, buy. I don't buy on hot tips or insider information though, so I didn't buy it. But he was telling me things about the product, and I thought, man, that's I have a big mouth. I'll probably mention it on YouTube one day. Get myself busted. So I never bought. Let's see. Amgen. Hey Isaac Chen. No, I'm not really trading crypto anymore. Amgen with the huge gap down earnings. I don't know. It's in the upper half of balance here. I mean, this weekly's obviously ugly. Tried to break up, obviously rejected. But I still like this area here for a buy, so I won't do anything on this until it comes down here. Which just won't even touch it. Kind of picky on that one. Okay, so that's the top 25 from the NASDAQ and S&P 100, kind of by market cap. So a little mishmash from the NASDAQ and the S&P. Okay, so now we're on to the movers. Beyond Meat, I'm long Beyond Meat, so not a recommendation to get long. I don't know. I think they're going to come out with the chicken product. I think it's probably going to be pretty good. And I think chicken, at least here in California, the non-real meat chicken products, they do a lot better than the fake beef products. So they're very smart to get into that. There's some competition, but if they have good product, which I have a feeling they're going to have good product, well, I'll probably try it and see if it's any good, even though I eat meat. And then if it's shitty, I'll dump my BYND. But that's supposed to come out this summer. So I'm holding some for the long side and some swing accounts here. So I like the risk reward because if it loses 106 or something, then I'd just say dump it. But right now, it's sort of trying to base out, right? Sort of, now however you put this trend line, it's breaking out a little bit, but it's basing. Okay, so, or consolidating to move down. But I like the risk reward because I think the reward is going to be much bigger than the risk. So buy small, put a stop loss in, and maybe it goes and makes new highs. It wouldn't surprise me. So I've seen this sort of symmetrical right-angled triangle. I've seen this pattern work out well to the long side quite a few times, even with 1, 2, 3 taps. Right? I've seen it work out well. So experience. Let's see. Sorry. Trader Joe. Oh, Trader Joe is... I have to just get rid of this guy. Hide user. There you go. Oh, we'll just hide him. Some people get really, really, really upset when they can't be on a... when they can't be on a Discord channel, and I've been removing people from Discord who don't provide any value. So, or if they have like shitty attitude and people are like, this guy's all about himself and doesn't have any etiquette. So that's probably what that is. Anyway, not a big deal. So anyway, BYND looks good. Disc, I didn't even notice them over there. So sorry guys, I didn't even I didn't even look. That's one of the reasons I think Twitch is better, but like I said, I just don't want to spend the time to upload from Twitch. This way it'll just be on YouTube when I'm done. Less time. Let's see, Discovery. I got chopped up here. I bought and I never sold anything. I just held, and I got stopped out right here. And maybe some wiser traders than I bought again. But I'm now out of Discovery. It didn't, when it came up like this and then went sideways and came down on Earth, like, so-so earnings. It doesn't turn into a winner. I just cut them. So I did lose on Discovery. That sucked, but it is what it is. I hope it moons for everybody that's in. I don't want to see it die. I want to see it moon for everybody, even though I lost money on it. Let's see. DraftKings. Still holding the trend line. I don't know a lot about this company, but I know people are bullish fundamentally on it, probably for good reasons. So not a huge. Only reason I did DraftKings is it was by request. This is the request area. So here's my opinion on GameStop, tulips, but rule of 3 coming up here. 1, 2, 3. It's been building against this trend line, so it may pop some shorts. I don't know what the short interest is. Big traders are not trading this all the time anymore, right? You can see volume, and it's just tapered off, and I don't like the liquidity on it, so for me, I just don't really. I'm not too interested to get involved with this thing on the long side, so. Let's see. All right. Cool. All right. I kind of covered that, Isaac, on when I went over SPY, so you can kind of rewind that. I'm not gonna kind of go over it again here. I'm just gonna try to get through this. Micron technology. Just starting to base. I mentioned it before. All right, you get this little false breakdown. This is usually when you get into a balance and range. Yeah, no problem, man. I covered it right at the beginning. So at the beginning of the video, I typically cover the indexes. So short-term bullish, likely, and then after that, if we hit a measured move, then I'll be looking to take a short based on how we come into that area of the market. So Peloton. We have been bearish Peloton. Everybody's long Peloton. But anyway, really nice head and shoulders on the weekly. So if this thing breaks down, like I said on my last equities video review, I was like, man, if this thing breaks down on a measured move, what is it going to go to 25 bucks? Seems so unlikely, but they've had so many incidents because of the design of their treadmills and with the huge gap underneath like that. Again, I have a treadmill and at home, and when you have a gap like that, balls, kids, they're just so, I don't know. I mean, it's just it's a funky design. They need to install some sort of plate underneath right there so that people don't get kind of sucked in. Anyway, it's a whole thing. My point is that the pattern is there. It's bearish, and if the pattern plays out, it's going down, down, downtown. So we'll see. Peter Brandt says head and shoulders are 50-50 breakdowns. So, or 50% of the time. But there, what it is it's good for measuring risk reward. So you put a stop up here at 127. Let's say you get short. Well, you have good risk reward then, right? So much better than 3-to-1. So that's what the pattern is good for, not high probability trading necessarily, especially when it's that obvious. Anyway, Taiwan Semiconductor, it is in a sort of a flagging situation here. So it looks good. I like it. Nice moves, and I wouldn't mind seeing it to pull back to like 104-ish. Lots of gaps in this thing. I mean, obviously. Look at that. Just gap-alicious. These are all gaps here. But they're not humongous gaps. So, you know, it looks good. Workhorse. Let's take a look. Yeah, Workhorses just looks. I mean that. It just looks like garbage. You know, it should have held 15 or something. Couldn't do that, and it's just been consolidating lower, and then we have gap fill down here. So yeah, you could see it right there. Fills right down here, so a little gap. I expect that to go fill at some point. Another gap down here. I see dead traders here holding on, hoping for a bounce. It might bounce, who knows? But it's not a good chart. Zoom looks good. This is nice looking chart. Nothing wrong with this chart on the weekly and the daily. So this is a kind of chart that looks healthy, right? May over time curl back around and make a new high or something. So yeah, I know it came from 67 and went all the way to whatever, almost $600 here. But this is a nice pattern on the weekly. So we'll see what happens. You could probably set a stop under here, like 221 or something. 100-point stop, but you know, the upside is nice. So you might have a 100-point stop, but you're talking about 200 points to the upside if it starts to push. So you know, with a TP1 of 110, 120, and then TP2 to another $100 higher. So you know, it's nice. It's just a good setup for risk reward, and there's structure here to put your stop at. So, and that's important in the markets. You want to have structure to place your stop behind that's going to protect your stop. You don't want to just have, you know, there was somebody on Discord today that didn't really understand this. They were talking about risk reward and how they just use the same setup, and I was trying to point out to them, hey, you want to place your stop in an area that has some sort of support or resistance to protect it, right? If you have no support or resistance, what they'll do, if this was like, you know, if this was all blue like this and had no pullback support here, and it was all just blue, and then it just expanded, what are you going to do? Put a stop right underneath here? No, they can blow that out real quick and then push it. But here, you already had people shorting because it's consolidation, so you can hide your stop behind that volume node. And now you have a logical area to place your stop. So, you know, structure for stops actually makes a big difference. So let's see here. Boeing, this is what I was talking about on the weekly for Boeing. How NVIDIA looks similar. We can go back and forth here real quick. You see that? See how NVIDIA is setting up that way? And then with crypto having made ridiculous gains, I don't know, you just got to be wary, because when, you know, NVIDIA is highly connected with cryptocurrency and mining and stuff like that. So anyway, Boeing. So this is NVIDIA, which I just said be wary. Here's Boeing. So when you get that kind of stupid volatility like that, lower lows, higher highs, and then rejection, this can happen. And that's why, you know, God, you got to control your risk, because imagine thinking nothing was ever going to happen with Boeing at 350 or something. Oh, consolidation, diamond continuation, I'm going to buy, right? I mean, if you've just kept buying and buying, you just got smoked. Nice bounce, but you got smoked to the downside. You go a lot further than, you can handle. Let's see. Don't have a lot of opinion on Boeing, so we'll just move past it. Unity software. I don't know. If you know something about this, I think someone asked me to review it. Who was it? I don't remember who, but it's not my cup of tea. On the daily, just not my cup of tea. Might oscillate or do something crazy, but this is one of those you need to fundamentally know something about the company, and I know nothing. Alibaba. Up against the trend line here pretty soon, so might get a little pop to 250 or something like that. We'll see. It is up. It's compressing against this trend line, so trying to base, little gap, filled the gap, pull back. I don't know. It's a speculative long, isn't it? It's a decent risk reward upside. If it breaks and finds a trend, upside is better than downside for sure. You can place a stop below this low. Low volume node there. Yeah. So, lots more reward than risk, but that's a toughie. Okay, rocket. Just Ken, I am bullish short term on most things. A lot of good earnings, but I expect, well, when I say I expect something, I just mean to say there's more probability in my mind that we're going to move up short term and hit some expected moves in the S&P 500. But anyway, I discussed that at the beginning of the video when I talk about equity indexes and stuff. So I'm too easily getting derailed. Yeah, I talked about Apple at the beginning. So I don't know. That's what's beautiful about markets. We all have opinions, and we can all be right or wrong and make money based on that. That every day that excites me when I'm trading. I'm like, I have the ability to make a lot of money today. The market could do something, and I could see a setup, and boom, I could make a shit ton of money. I don't know. That blows my mind every single day. I get excited all the time. BlackBerry. It's trying to base, isn't it? Isn't it? If it curls back up here and makes a new high, it's in an uptrend. Just on the daily. I know this is all a bunch of craziness, but it's trying. Looks like it's losing momentum to the downside here. So it is trying to base here and move back up. So, right? If we hold 844 and then curl back around, and we can hit $10. I mean, you might want to try to anticipate that, but I mean, this is bubblicious. I get it, but I don't know. You might risk $1.50 to try and make 3 or 4. So again, it's a high risk play here. Andre, perp futures. Man, I'll review it in Discord for you, my friend. My crypto game is strong. It is strong. Even though I'm not trading it, my crypto game is strong. I spent so much time trading crypto. You don't even know. But we'll talk about it in Discord. Let's see. Applied materials. Yeah, I mean, it found support where we thought, and it's just in this solid little uptrend. Yeah, you're welcome. we have a nice little Discord group going. Everybody's contributing. But if you don't contribute or you're an asshole, I remove you quickly without even giving it a second thought. And you don't get back in because I don't want to babysit people and let them convince me that they're gonna change their ways. Like, no, you knew the rules. That's it. I do this for a living. The Discord is a whole different thing. It's traders providing real input in real time, and we all take it very seriously. And if you're gonna come in and blow smoke up everyone's ass about P&L, etc., and just not be respectful, then I just dump you. I don't even give you a warning. See ya. Anyway, so if you can join the Discord, but if you mess up, you fuck up, then you're gone. But that said, there's a lot of really awesome traders in there, like amazing traders that know market profile, that know options, that know stocks, that know the E-mini, and everybody has a pretty humble approach to the markets. We all realize that we're wrong. Well, once in a while we get some braggadociousness out of this one guy, TYP, but he's known to be an asshole sometimes. So Applied Materials is just in an uptrend. So anyway, Digital Turbine. So who was this? Was this Chaz? I think Chaz. Man, it looks good on the weekly. Like I said, I'd be buying the lower ranges. Oh, W Fighter Pilot. Glad to hear you like the videos, man. Sierra Chart it can be a little challenging, so stick with it, man. And if you're in Discord, man, we have some super cool people in Discord. Like Zip, right? If you guys have heard of Atkins Indicators, he hangs out in there, and he's not support for everybody, but he knows a lot of shit, and when he's around, sometimes he can answer some really cool questions, but that's not his job. That's, it's all free. So, if you want him to do something, you better kiss his ass. Be nice. But, he hangs out there along with a bunch of other big time traders that sometimes stay quiet, but they are, when they do speak up, it's wisdom. I'm telling you. I listen when they speak up. So I will be getting a few other bigger traders as we clean house and root out all the people in there that don't give two shits. But for now, I think we have just a bunch of people who care. So it's a good environment, and I will work hard to keep it that way. Let's see. But if you do join Discord, don't just hang out and not say anything, because we'll look at your activity and then the axe comes down, because everybody needs to either ask a question or provide a chart or bring something of value, not just, hi, good morning, how are you, here's my trading journal for the day, I made money. Like, that doesn't help anybody. And half the people that do that are bullshitting about what they made anyway. They're lying, because people have egos in trading. Anyway, Digital Turbine. It just looks good. I don't know anything fundamentally, but it looks good. Sorry for the aside there, the little rant. Uh-oh, diamond reversal, diamond continuation. I don't know. Let's see. I thought it was likely for diamond continuation because Etsy is moving like this. So I would lean towards fake out to the downside, but that said, if we keep pushing, then I'm wrong, because it doesn't matter what I think it might do. What matters is what it's actually doing, and it's right now trying to make a lower low relative to this swing low here. So it is pushing down. So yeah, it is what it is. Diamond continuation or not, starting to push down. So short term 190 offers some support. So Trading is easier, lol. Yeah. I think money is a consequence. The market and its auction is what's important. Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. 100%. Yeah, so there's Etsy. Square. I thought Square was going to be based on the pattern where it comes up. Makes this like these nice pullbacks, kind of like Etsy. These nice pullbacks, even though it's starting to break that diamond a little bit to the downside. It tries, then it pulls all the way back to the bottom here, and then finds support, and then comes all the way back to the top. And that's where I drew these red arrows. I said, this would not surprise me. Some sort of basing pattern here with Square. Even though, it's made big moves. I mean, this is what uptrends look like. This is what companies who are bringing value to the marketplace, this is what their stocks, or what their price looks like. Yeah, just wouldn't surprise me. So, look at how long it based out down here in the, $50 to $100, whatever, 100 to 80, whatever. It based, and then it did a little false breakdown, and then boom. And fundamentally good company. So, some sort of base here would not surprise me at all. Roku still holding the channel, loose channel. Looks good on the weekly. This is the kind of pullback you want, right? If you put, say, a fib on this thing, let's see. I don't know, something like that. You can see it already kind of got a little bouncy here. I don't know, maybe you put the fib from here, or even from the breakout point here. Let's do that. Let's change that. Let's do the fib from here. Then it's holding the 50%, making a 2 fib bounce, which is healthy. And if it comes all the way back to the 618 and this is support, then I'd be looking for a buy on Roku. So it looks pretty good. Grow generation. I don't know too much about it, but it looks decent on the daily and the weekly. It's consolidating nicely. So, I mean, obviously you would want to just put a trend line on it like that, and see if it breaks it. So we got some support in this area here. So, if you start to lose this, you probably lose this pretty fast. And then this is kind of ultimate support. You don't want it breaking down here too far, because now you're, well, that's still 618. I mean, it's done on the daily good things. It's bounced on levels. So you see this? Here it bounced. Here it bounced. And here it bounced like a crazy man. Off around the 50%. Just went nuts. Way over 250. I mean, that is pretty good. That's pretty healthy. So, I'm sorry to hear that. And yeah, my condolences. And yeah, there are obviously things in life that are much more important than trading. Zip, aka the Atkins indicator guy that writes on Sierra Chart, has been reminding me of that in DM, because I've put some work into the Discord and trying to help people and stuff like that. And he's just like, you're not going to be any happier being super successful and all this other stuff than you are with your family. So, and I was like, that is wisdom right there. So anyway, I've got my evening all worked out. My wife knows that as soon as I'm done, I'm skipping over, and then I'm going to wake up early tomorrow and finish my journaling and a bunch of other things. So just doing this, get this out of the way. I kind of enjoy this, and then I just enjoy the rest of the evening, and then the weekend with my family. So put the priority on them. But I work hard and I grind throughout the week. So All right, buddy. Have a good one. And thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate the comments. Let's see. So back to this. Yeah, so I think I said what I wanted to say on Grow Generation. You know, it's been bouncing off these levels very smartly, and that's a good thing. That shows a lot of interest. So I like it. I like the way it's moving. Palantir. Palantir, I've just said I'm not bullish on. Why? Because number one, there's way too much interest in this stock, retail interest, and everybody I know that doesn't trade professionally is buying this. I don't know. It's I mean, I know that you can't base a trade off of that. The technicals are obviously more important, but just look at the technicals. It's not looking too good. Gap, couldn't fill it, right? Couldn't fill it, right? Just rejected. So that's what these lines are. They're automatic gap indicator. So, you know, here gap fill to the upside, but right now it's kind of like this head and shoulders type thing. So, I mean, it's not breaking down. The longer it goes sideways, the more bullish it is. Because if you have this thing all extend way out here, if it doubles or whatever the consolidation here, it just decreases the probability that we're going to break down. Usually, if it's really bearish, you know, you get consolidation, tries to move up, and then the upward move provides fuel for trap longs to move down. This is consolidating. So if it just consolidates sideways and keeps going out in time, I would not be looking to short this thing. So Coinbase. You know, I started to get really active in this stock and think, you know, I really want to trade this thing. And it was fun for a little while. But it's kind of dying down. Look at the volume. Look at that. If crypto pulls back a lot, Coinbase is going to have a difficult time making money. And just hear me out. Crypto is a little overheated. So I think they'll buy this thing at, there'll be interest to buy it more at 250. So we'll see. We'll see what it does. Right now it is just making lower lows and lower highs, and it's curling down. It's trying a little here short term, but it's within range. Now we have resistance at 315, generally speaking, right? So we should put that on the chart. I was interested in it, but I'd probably be interested, I don't know, maybe in a short here. Let's see. Right in this area. Because of this structure, right? We just highlight it and it extends right as a zone. Pinterest. Broke downside. This is just a fun chart for me because I think something like this may happen on Pinterest, but we'll see. Why? It's because of this structure and the way it came up here and started making crazy volatility. So let's see. Let's see if it makes crazy volatility and does some. You could even argue that the diamond is already happening here, right? With this move, but really you want to see like a lower move than a higher move. I don't know. We'll see. It's young still. It's young. So we'll see. I hate this ETF because their fees are so high that the moves aren't very one-to-one with Bitcoin. So not a fan of Grayscale. So not a good proxy for Bitcoin, even though it's Bitcoin. It just moves in it's sloppy. So LRCX. Let's see. BTX? I'll look at it. I will look at it. What is it? Dr. Phenom? Is that right? Dr. Phenom? Did I remember that correctly? Let's see. Lamb is solid uptrend. I mean, I'm not trading this thing, but you know, if you want to say channel, something like that. Yeah, that's cool. Dr. Phenom, that's a cool name. I don't, I mean, on the weekly, it's going to town. I mean, buy area on this is kind of where it just bounced a little bit off of. So, pretty bouncy stock, isn't it? I mean, it trades light on shares, but it's bouncy. You could make some money on this thing if you can hold through some of the volatility. And the levels are good. It came down and bounced above support. So, my 602.32, I have an alert there. I never got alerted because it never went there. So that happens, but I do put alerts in Sierra chart. Right click on the line and add alert, and then yeah, you're good. And you can do alerts on diagonals as well, diagonal trend lines. So if let's say you're doing a trend line like this for a breakout, you can put an alert so that anytime it crosses the trend line, you'll get an alert. So that's nice. TradingViews has that as well. Thinkorswim does not. It's all with Thinkorswim. It's all just horizontals, I believe, which sucks. Anyway, AMD. Let's see. Advanced micro devices. Little head and shoulder-ish kind of pattern. So I don't know. We'll see. Made a pretty, like, relative to this push here. I don't know. It might just be, if it comes back up and rejects around $100, then it's basing. But right now, after earnings, I don't know. Kind of more head and shoulder-ish, trying to make a trend change. So the confirmation of trend would come if we made a lower low, right? So and then like that, and then you have new trend, and then support is over here somewhere, right? So that would be your buy spot. But all head and shoulders are just potential trend change of trends. So it's trying to do that with this push down here. It's not making a higher high, so it's not making a lower low relative to this yet. But if it does, then you would want to be looking to short pullbacks. Not a false breakdown and then it comes straight back up. That would suck, because one of the most successful trades is the false breakdown, right? Because as soon as it comes back up on strength, you just long it. Those turn into rippers. Why? Because they trapped you. That's essentially what it is. Okay, Ford. Getting into the EV space, so let's see. Earnings gap, is that what that is? Yeah, I think Ford had earnings. Just looking at it. I mean, on the weekly, it's a little in no man's land here. That's the problem with Ford, right? Is you have this. There's the 20. But like, where's the next support area, right? You just look at it like this. So yeah, maybe all the way down here. I don't know. this is a buy area. I don't know. I just don't know on it. It's like that, something like that, right? You see, like you've got. Oh, let's do this. Oh, we can't do anymore. Right? See the volume profile, right? Kind of lines up. So you'd buy into that volume ledge, which is previous support, which is previous support. But maybe here too, I guess. I mean, that was a struggle. You could see once we broke this area, you see that? It came and it pulled all the way back into that area, then it went. And it's been kind of struggling ever since then. And so now we had earnings. The EV space is tough because everyone talks about getting into it, but Tesla's got the technology, man. Tesla really is good product. So I know they all want to say, oh, we're busting into it, but it is pretty tough. So I don't know. It's highly speculative, so you maybe have a few places of support. Right? You got support here at 1040, 1050, and then you have support at 960-ish, this whole area here. So it's kind of an interesting chart, isn't it? Because the levels of support are so clear. Let's go like right here. Okay, now we got them. See, and then we do it from the structure. That way we know. Although this should be on the right side, not the left side, because I like to see. It's okay. Whatever. Thinking about the price, where it should go. Okay, O'Reilly's auto parts. Man, what a ripper! Look at that. That is nice. How's that for ripping your face off? So what this is a it's really interesting, this one. This is an elevated inverted head and shoulders continuation, and that is nice. Let's go chart calculation. So if we measure this is the way you're supposed to measure it per classical charting. Plus 210. So up here, I know people are like, fuck that, that's not going to happen. 705. It's been happening for all this stuff. All this stuff it's been happening like this. Okay, there you go. That's your target. So mark it down, see what happens. Elevated right shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. Or what do they call that? Like a Kirby. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, there's another name for inverted head and shoulders. Those parts have life of their own. See, there's so much delay on this stinking YouTube feed, even though I've got it set to like low latency. The way YouTube buffers is it's like it prioritizes video quality. Oh, big gap down on Twitter. Into support. That was a day trade for me this morning. Into the buy zone. No, was it this morning? Yes, it was. Right here. And then I got out. It was nice. I just made some money on it. That's it. I was talking about this on Discord. This is a nice setup. This is why you put these levels on the chart. For day traders, man, your big areas where you have humongous gaps like this. Well, maybe not gaps, but support right here. It could be the nicest short-term bounces ever. So I play them all the time. Just buy the death, and then you get nice risk reward a lot of times. These things get so bouncy. So anyway, you could see huge volume, and then boom, continuing down. So it's probably going to continue down a bit more, just because of that huge volume right here. There's a lot of trap traders now in this level. So if we look at it right on the 30-minute volume profile, it becomes resistance. So what should happen here on my chart is go to the price zones, red. Just look at it. Okay, we now know this here corresponds with this, and that's where it is. Okay, so that's big resistance now. We'll say huge resistance. Anyway, what I was talking about, Vlad, is there's huge delay, and so that's why typically I like to do it in Twitch, because it's like 2 seconds max or something. And it's still recorded. It's recorded there for 14 days. I don't know. I guess I could have went back and uploaded it after the fact. Twitter is the last thing on the chart. Okay, someone asked for what? BTX? Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, let me add it real quick. BTX. And anything else. I'll do whatever. If you guys are here and want me to look at a stock, then this is the part where I'll do requests. Oh, jeez. No shit. I don't. Whoa. I'm over here trading the E-mini. I should be trading this shit right here. Oh. This is an IPO, isn't it? Man. Jeez. Can I get shortable shares on this thing? Might have to contact my broker. Hook me up. I don't know what the news is. I say that, but I love to short this kind of shit. Just go in small, and then if it works for you, add. But go in small, keep your risk tight, because these things can blow you up quickly. So go in super small. I'm not going to sit here and pound on this thing with my whole account. It's like, okay, tiny. Same with GME. I started shorting GME at like, oh geez, you know, I almost caught the top with GME, but I shorted it at 300, and you know, I made a lot of money shorting GME. I'm just gonna say, I did. But I went in small, and then when I was wrong, I'd just get out. But you know, with GME, if you get it right, you can get some. You saw those 180 point moves, right? I got stuck in one of those where I was short. I covered too quickly, and then I started going long, and it went. It halted 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row it halted, and I was down a lot of money. I was like, fuck. And right at the third halt, because if you've traded stocks for any number of years, usually the third halt in a row to the downside, shorts want to cover. So I just bought the shit out of it, and then it bounced like $100, and I ended up making money. But it was like, fuck. That one had me nervous. That was not a smart play on my part. So anyway, what else do we have? No penny stock. Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, I think that's it. Have a good weekend, and hope you guys hope anybody watching this in the future gets something good out of it. For all of you United Kingdom folks who bought Disca, to the moon. Have a good weekend.